Okay, so this next question is Turing machines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the areas which people generally find quite hard on it, but we've got quite a complex Turing machine. And the main things that we've got in it is we're going to start from this so state zero, and what it's asking us to do is essentially trace through the algorithm with so this is the tape for the Turing machine. The star signifies whether we've got a value is where the read and write head is on, and a square signifies an empty space. Now, if it also goes into the empty spaces, that is also an empty space. I know that may seem obvious to some people, but it's not obvious to some other people. Is that even if there's not a square there, that's like there is a square there. Okay, and what we've got to do is we've got to trace it through. So essentially with this, what you have to do is you have to put down all of the states. So we're going to start off with here. We're at state zero, and we're going to go to, so I'm just going to move this over just a little bit so you can see it better. So we're at state zero, and what it's saying is we're at zero. And what it's saying is what happens if so what happens at state zero if our input is zero. So we're going to follow. So that would be what would happen if it was an empty space. That would be what happens if it's a hashtag. But we're actually going to move over to state 2 now. So it's going to go 0. Whereas actually, if it's on the other side there, that's a square. So that's actually going to change that to a square. That's telling us that the read and write heads moves to the right. If it's pointing the other direction, it's going to go left. This one here is going to be a 0 still because that stays the same. And then this is going to be a hashtag. And then we're now at state 2 because we have moved from here to here. Now you just do the same thing, but you're going from here. So we're going from 0. So what's going to happen is we're going to go and follow this route here. So we're going to go over to state 1. So we're going to go hashtag. We're moving right, so all of the values to the left of it are going to stay the same. 0. In this case, we haven't actually got anything, nothing's going to change in this particular one, so that's actually going to be a 0 there. That is going to be a square as well, but sorry, it's a little hard to draw in. And then we've got a 0. But the read and write head is going to move over again. So now the read and write head is going to be on this one, and that's signified by the star, and then the hashtag is going to stay the same. We're now at state 1. You go hashtag. With hashtag, and then what we're going to do is we're going to have a look. Now we're on a 0, so we're actually going to go back to state 2, and as you can see, that gets changed to a square. So we're going to put square, an empty space, 0. That now changes to an empty space because that's on that side over there. And then this is going to move over here to a hashtag. Okay. We're now back at state 2. We're going to go for a hashtag again here. Let's have a little look. So always a good idea just to plan ahead. So the hashtag is actually going to move us over into state 4. Nothing's changing though. So it's going to be square, 0, square. And then what we're going to do is so this one, can you see that the arrow is pointing the other way? So that's telling the read and write head that it needs to move over to the left. That's going to be a hashtag. Still there. Okay, so it moves over. Nothing changes, but now we're going from state 2 to state 4. Okay, so that's going to be state 4. Then what we've got is this is actually going to copy the same. It's going to be the same thing over and over again until we get to the hashtag. Because can you see it's as if it's a 0, an empty space, a square, or a 1. We're going to move the read and write head over, and it only changes when we go to a hashtag. So it's actually, this is going to be the same thing over and over again. So we're going to do hashtag here, square, 0 here, put a little star on that one because it's moving the read and write head over there, square, hashtag, that's going to stay the same. Here's going to be a square there. And then that's going to be, we're still in state 4. So we're going to actually be in state 4 for a little bit until we get to the hashtag. So that's a square, 0, square, hashtag. This is also going to be state 4, moving it along to over to this one over here. And then we've got hashtag, star, and then all of those are going to stay the same. So square, 0, square, hashtag, And now we are still at state 4, but now things are going to change because it says state we're at here, but we're actually going to move over to the left, but we're changing state now, aren't we? So the star is going to go here, hashtag, square, 0, square, hashtag, but now we're in state 5. Okay, so let's have a little look at what happens here. So this is actually what's gonna, and this is quite confusing, this one. And I think this is a little bit sneaky of the exam board to do this actually, is that in this case, can you see that it says like, so square is an empty space. So that's what that means. So it's actually, we're gonna activate this one here. And I don't think that's super obvious on this as well. So just, that's a little trick actually, which I don't think is very fair on you guys. But anyway, so the square, the empty space is gonna change to a 1. It's going to move it to the right, so that it's going to go over here. It's going to be a square, a 0, a square, a hashtag, and then this is going to be we're now at state 7. So we're at the hashtag. So again, so this is actually going to take us back up to state 0. So we're going to go 1. The read and write head's going to move to the right. Square, hashtag, 0, square, hashtag, and then we're going to go, and then we're at state 0. Now we're at the square there, so that's actually going to be, it's going to move along 1, so it's going to go 1, hashtag, square, and then it's going to go to the 0 here. So 0, a little star there to signify that, square, hashtag, but we're still in state 0. And then we're going to go 1. Now we're at 0, so it's going to go over to there. So it's going to be a hashtag, square, 0 gets changed to a square because that's over there. And then we've got the square over here, which we're on, hashtag. We're at state 2 now. Now, so we are at the square here, so that is going to be so we're going to stay at state 2 for a little bit, so it's going to be square, but it's going to move to the right, so hashtag, square, square. Obviously make your squares clear, but my software doesn't make it too easy. Hashtag, little star above that to signify where we're at. We're still at state 2. We're now going to activate this one. We're going to go to the left. So it's going to be 1, hashtag, square, square, square. Hashtag above this one because the read and write head has moved. Hashtag. And then what we're going to do is here, we're going to go for so that's now going to be in state 4. So that's all good, that's all sorted. And then what we're going to do is then it's just going to be moving itself across for the next few. So we're going to go hashtag, square, square. Little star above that one because we're moving it to the left, hashtag. And we're still at state 4, and we're going to be at state 4 until we've moved over quite a bit actually. So 1, hashtag, square, hashtag, 0, 0, hashtag, state 4. Okay, and then we finally get to the hashtag, which actually means that we can do something now. So star's going to be on that one. Little square, little square, little square, hashtag. And then we're going to move over to, so we're still at state 4 in this one. Now, what it's going to do is the state 4 is going to transition over to 1. So it's going to be 1, hashtag, hashtag, square, 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 hashtag. And then we need to have a little look at what's going to happen now because we're at state 5. And then what's going to happen is we're going to move over now. So the hashtag is going to go on here. That's an empty space, so it's still going to be on there for us. So then it's going to be 1. This is all going to be the same. Square, 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 hashtag. And then we're at state 5 still. Then the final thing is going to be Here, where the empty space square is going to change to a 1, that's going to be a 1. We're on this one here. And then this is going to be finished. So we've got square, 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 hashtag at the end, state 7. And that's all, that's that question done there. I will be bringing out some more stuff to do with the rest of this paper, but it's a little busy at the moment. If you need any extra help, please do check us out. I'll put some links in the description where we've got group lessons and stuff going on, but I hope that was useful, people.